It's okay. You know.
Working. No, can't hear Chris at all.
It's time for Boss Rush on Friday afternoon. There we are. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Woo!
You said Friday afternoon? Where are you?
Well, it's, East Coast here. East Coast here, right? Yeah, that's right. Friday afternoon for me, Friday morning for you all. And yeah, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us this Friday afternoon / morning, I guess. My name's Chris Velocinos, Principal Evangelist for Video Games here at AWS. And who's with me?
Dean Takahashi, Editorial Director at GamesBeat.
That's right, the Editorial Director for GamesBeat. And?
New title, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, buddy. We are going to talk all about that. Come on, step up. You all
okay, fine. Susan Cummings, otherwise known as Not Mark.
There you go.
And run 10-6 games. It's actually 5:30 in the evening for me here in the UK.
Yes.
But excited to be here with my friends.
Yes, and we're excited to have you here. And who else do we have with us who's working on the lighting in his space there?
I know. Hey, it's Mark Delora, a longtime game industry guy, currently doing EdTech cross games at Level Up Games. And I got some new lighting, which I keep farting around with. Currently, it makes me look very, very red. Oh, well, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Indeed. And yeah, we are at the end of another week and ready to go ahead and have some fun talking about video games and recapping all the biggest news from the industry for this week. And, there's a siren in the background.
They're coming for me.
They got you. They found you. That's right. That's right. Well, normally we go ahead and everybody that's joining us, thank you for joining us today. Go ahead and if you wouldn't mind, share on your social feeds that this is going on. And we do this again every Friday so we get more people in to join in all of the hilarity. Tony says, good morning, all. John Goodale, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, thanks for showing up today. All right. We have a lot to cover today, but... we always start off with Dean talking about the biggest news, but we're not going to do that today. Right? I'm actually going to start and kick this thing off by talking about the big announcement, which is GamesBeat spins off as independent new media. And look at in Dean's window there. I've got this. Oh, wait a minute. No, we can't see that there. I meant to do this for you, buddy. I got this nice... Yay for Dean. We have this nice confetti animation for you, buddy. Yay. Woo. Yay.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
So nice.
This is a high-end project here we've got going.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And with everybody
No
laughing.
expenses spared, Dean.
No
to celebrate your win.
No expenses
Thank
spared.
you.
Yeah, and with all of everybody just shouting there, you were all burying the needles on my sound meter. But it all should be good now. But now we're going to go ahead and jump back over to this browser. Dean, talk to us about this incredible announcement and what that means for GamesBeat and means for you. Like, share, my man, share it.
Yeah. Well, we were thinking about this for years, really, and the timing finally turned out to be right, and we have spun GamesBeat out as a new company on its own. It's no longer part of VentureBeat. There's no ownership connection anymore, and for the first, I did start GamesBeat 17 years ago when I joined VentureBeat, which at the time was 2 years old, and so it sort of took 17 years for it to actually be a real startup. We're a startup now. we have a a small crew. Gina Joseph is our CEO, and we see a lot of opportunities in games to expand, to do more, to really focus all our resources in this space. That said, I've always been a tech writer, and I continue to be a tech writer as well. And so, if I don't know if a lot of you may have noticed, but not a lot of people come in through GamesBeat.com. A lot of people just come in through search to find our stories that way, right? And so it's not so odd to notice if you're coming in through a search engine. But if you go to GamesBeat.com, I've been writing all of my tech stories lately on GamesBeat, right? And so if there's a new NVIDIA chip or something like that, or Intel makes an announcement like they did yesterday, then it just runs in this whole river of stories.
Yeah.
So we're just going to continue some of that for a while. Maybe we split out, other channels, but for now it's just GamesBeat.com, and my tech stories that used to run on VentureBeat will run on GamesBeat as well. And we have members of the team that have all come over. We have the whole GamesBeat library that we have access to. We're probably redirecting that to the new GamesBeat site that we're going to work on. We have people on the events team, the business team, and then my colleagues Rachel Kaiser and Mike Minotti are going to continue working on GamesBeat. So yeah, it's a new day, new time to get going as a startup. We hope we can do a lot more this way.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, congrats, buddy. 17 year startup. I mean, it sounds like the indie space, right?
It's like we're a teenager now. We got to go out on our own.
That's exactly.
Don't get drunk.
Exactly.
Find your way.
Exactly. But that's just awesome. Yeah, really fantastic news, and really good that GamesBeat's now going to be a top line destination versus, as you said, where you would typically come in through VentureBeat or have to search to find your way to the GamesBeat stuff. So no more, and I think that's fantastic, Dean. Yep. So we're thrilled for you. Congratulations to the both of you, for you and Gina. And we saw that there was or somebody had posted that they were joining GamesBeat. So I think you had a couple of hires that are coming in there too. So we're excited to see where this goes. How we can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. We do. Not everybody that we worked with, was able to come over because there were a lot of shared people between VentureBeat and GamesBeat. So there was a limit to what we could do in terms of bringing everybody who was working with us. The nice thing is, there were not layoffs as part of this process, and so the people who didn't come with us, they're staying at VentureBeat. So that's good. But yeah, I miss working with some of them for sure. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what VentureBeat does on its own, because it's going to concentrate wholeheartedly now on AI and enterprise coverage.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes, and we wish our colleagues over there the best as well. But all right, so we're going to be able to celebrate this as well in person at GamesBeat Summit next month. So looking forward to seeing you out there. But that's the most important news I wanted to get out of the way today. Again, Dean, congrats.
Are you both going and I'm not going? Is that what I'm hearing here? Because Mark, you're going too, right?
I'm going too. Yeah.
We just signed up Mark to be a speaker too. So.
Oh, now I'm really sad because you could be doing this live. Is that enough?
Oh, that would
yeah, we can do a podcast too.
Well, I was about to say we may have to go ahead and do something like that while we're there. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. So anyway, yes, and Stephen here in the chat says congratulations. So congratulations.
Thank you guys for all your support too. I appreciate it.
Of course.
It's been fun.
Of course.
It's been fun.
All right, so on to other news and topics. Dean, what do you have for us this week?
Well,
Dean's like, well, look, man, I'm in the
well,
process of
I am the
standing up
new
the game
executive.
company. Like, what are you doing?
there is, you know, I don't know what to think of it, I guess, but you know, it's not really a part of the game industry. But when things like this happen, they definitely have an impact on the game industry. But Intel, their new CEO, announced that they're going to have, you know, drastic changes at the company, and
Right.
that's going to mean layoffs. Bloomberg had reported earlier that they could see as much as 20% layoffs at the company, which is 108,000 people. So 20,000 layoffs or more is possible. Intel didn't confirm any number. They said most of that is going to happen in the current second quarter. But you know, it reminds me of, you know, the time when Facebook was in such trouble that you know, they laid off 30,000 people, and that was kind of the beginning of a lot of the funk in the games industry as well. It kind of spread over here. So it's a bit of a sad thing because, you know, so many things are starting to finally go right for the game industry. Things like hiring have come back in the first quarter. But you know, we see this, we see the tariffs, and so, you know, it's almost like the game industry cannot get its break, right? So that's not so great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, again, we wish, you know, soft landings for our colleagues that will be impacted. Hopefully they'll be able to get their footing, you know, again, and, you know, just continue to build more for all of us. So
there was also some very interesting transition news at Discord.
oh, yeah.
So Jason Citron was the founding CEO 13 years ago. And I wrote the very first story on their company, and it was called Hammer and Chisel at that time, and they were making a MOBA called Fates Forever, and they did the first crack at that, and found that they could not make a dent in League of Legends or Dota 2, and so, but they came up with a cool communications technology while they were doing that, and they pivoted into doing that, and they called it Discord, and now they have 200 million monthly users.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Pretty amazing run. So and this was, you know, Jason's second company. Like in his 20s, he had founded OpenFaith, and sold that for $104 million during the social mobile boom. And Discord is actually far more valuable now than that ever was, right? And they're often talked about as the next big game-related company to be expected to do an IPO. And as Jason, I did an exclusive interview with Jason this week, and he's, you know, had hired Humam Saknini as the new CEO. And Humam was previously the vice chairman of Activision Blizzard. So, you know, he said that, you know, if we were going down that road, they had no plans to announce about it, but if they were going down that road, this is the kind of thing that they would do. So, again, very, you know, they're bringing in a very seasoned big company guy to try to grow the company. And Jason says he's going to work on his pile of shame, playing a lot of games now. So it's an interesting transition for sure.
We all have that pile of shame, right? Dang it, Humble Bundle, you know, constantly jacking up those numbers. No, but we wish them the best of luck there over at Discord. Obviously, you know, huge opportunity, massive base that they have there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they continue forward.
Yeah, there are more than 800 people now working for Discord.
It's crazy. So,
and doing lots of things like reward based advertising and other kinds of engagement sort of plans that are aimed at improving monetization, but also just essentially, making the platform more sticky for gamers.
Right. Awesome.
Riot has new leadership as well now. Wasn't it announced? Someone from outside the industry?
Yeah, a new president there, and let me call that one up. I didn't write that story. Rachel wrote that one for us.
I don't know him. Some in the industry seem connected to him. He's more of a marketing background, is it Nike maybe or something like that? Maybe I'm crazy. Something like that.
Something like that.
Adjacent to our world, something adjacent to our gaming world.
I mean, look, that's one of the things that you can always depend on here on Boss Rush is just the facts, the actual facts. Something like that. Maybe something like
All
that.
right, yeah, the Nike part is correct.
Yay!
Hobie Darling. Yeah,
You
Hobie
did it.
Darling is his name. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he worked at Nike and Skull Candy and Volcom and Logitech as well.
Hobie Darling.
And so, yeah, I guess a brand knowledgeable guy.
Yes.
And I think that's important for Riot because they're so deep into esports, and brands are really carrying all of esports forward. There's an interesting little fact that I got when I went to the IAB conference in New York, where they said that gaming only accounts for 5% of the world's advertising budgets now, and that is like a totally big opportunity for the industry to grow. It's funny how you see brands rushing into a lot of these places, like say Roblox, Fortnite, and Minecraft, and creating their own experiences there, their own games there, because they see that this generation is so different that that's where they're going, and they're not going to the traditional places like say Nintendo or Disney or whatever destinations that other people grew up with. Right. This generation is growing up in a totally different way, and the brands have to be there or they disappear. So anyway, I could see some logic to why Riot would turn to someone like this.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the reality. That is where, the rising tide of users, right? The youngest ones, that's where they're living right now and communicating are in those spaces, right? And so if the brands are not there, they miss the opportunity to have that dialogue and that conversation. But it's, when you talk about it's only 5% in games, because games historically haven't really lent themselves to being amenable to ads within the games, right? If it's organic to the environment, like in a racing game, for example, right? At a track, yeah, you would expect to see Bridgestone banners up. You would expect to see that kind of in-world advertising. Burnout Paradise did a really good job with that with billboards, and it was actually during the Obama administration's campaign where they had billboard placement for getting out the vote and that kind of stuff, and that worked really well. But this is a medium that is just not used to having advertising in it, except for mobile, right? And that's where people have a value exchange for watching the ad and then getting some sort of reward for doing so. Of course, the simple trick is when the ad comes up, just shut the app down, turn it back on, and surprise, surprise, the ad's gone. Now you can continue on your level. Little pro tip there, for doing that. But, if you're not going to be able to advertise to them, but still have organically correct fit of product placement in those environments, I think this segment is really open to exploring that and accepting if it's done correctly, right? It just can't feel abusive.
You're exactly on the mark in that, like the thing that games have been resistant to is advertising messaging. You have to be authentic to games in order for them, the fans of games, to listen to you, right? Marketers, advertisers have not always been clever enough to figure out how to organically and authentically reach those gamers, right? And so I think it's just harder for them to target gamers than it is to target general populations, right? So you want to be more endemic to games.
I think that's probably why it's worked a bit better on mobile than anywhere else, because mobile, everyone's playing mobile games. It is the same market, right? It's whereas when you get away from mobile, you get more to like a core gaming audience, who's more concerned with authenticity, et cetera, et cetera. It's not such a big deal on mobile where everybody's playing a Candy Crush or whatever, on their phones.
Mark, you were going to say something?
I was just saying I really miss having advertising in my life, so I'm excited about this.
What have you been stuck in Minecraft all this time, or what?
I don't know. I feel like we've been talking about ads in games since like 2005. We have.
That's right, but now there's a chance to do it correctly.
Right, because we've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Well, we have.
It's been terrible.
Well, we have. It depends. It depends on the platform. Huh?
Didn't Unity make a crap ton of money off ads? The Unity ads program? That's why that exists.
Right, but then what happened? Then the rules changed. Then the rules changed, and all of it cratered, right? Because the controls back to the consumer side allowed them to go ahead and shut off and stem the flow of those things, and it caused that whole thing to crater on, one of the two principal platforms, not across the board, but on the one that actually generated the lion's share of it. So if there are ways to go ahead and do this organically that are aligned with content and still count as kind of that advertising space, but it's really about communication, right, of your brand values and benefits, then it works, and it can work. And that's where, like we talked last week about Jack in the Box doing this, right?
I'm just watching Mark's face.
Mm-hmm. Yes, listen. You don't have to take it from me.
I will say,
hold on,
Mark,
no. Hold on, Tony in the chat. Hold on, Tony in the chat says, "Typical Mark."
Yeah. Like I value ads when I'm trying to sell something to somebody.
Yeah, there's like a Black Mirror episode in the new season where you get healthcare treatment and then pay them by being an ad, basically, and say speaking your advertisement as if you're actually talking to somebody.
To back up Mark
Right.
here a bit, because I do want it to be clear that I am more on Mark's side with this. We're going to expand on what I was saying. It made sense in mobile because mobile is all about millions and millions and millions and millions of users who aren't really a traditional gamer. I'm not going to say aren't traditional gamers. I don't want that to move over to the PC and console world. I don't want to see it. I don't want.
Again.
Please wait. Now loading. Here's a Burger King ad. While you wait.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Well, is it better than sitting with just a blank loading screen?
Watch this ad.
Right.
Again,
wait,
I think
let's pause the podcast for a 30-second ad from our
exactly. Are you dealing with male pattern baldness? Please join the Boss Rush crew in addressing this very sensitive situation.
I mean, I worked for Google for a while, right? And that was like the conversation all the time. It was like, look at all this amazing stuff we're doing. Oh, it's all paid for by ads. Oh, well, I don't love that, but at least we're able to do amazing stuff.
That's the point. What's the alternative? It's all about finding your currencies, right?
I think it is alwa's like an interesting choice, though. If you could get your stuff for free from Mark Zuckerberg, right? And here throw a lot of ads at you, or you could pay the highest prices in the world to someone like Apple, right? And Apple's not going to hit you with all these ads, but they will charge you premium prices for any kind of hardware that you want to buy. So there's that contrast of like the evilness of ads, as some people perceive, but also the ability to reach everybody in the world, right? And Apple doesn't give a damn about the digital divide, right? But Facebook, by contrast, reaches everybody on the planet, right? So it's interesting.
Yeah,
and just takes your data with them.
Yeah.
That's right.
I always just laugh when I like go to a baseball game or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, like you should charge me less money to come here because I'm surrounded by all these advertisements you're making money off of. Like, you're selling my eyeballs. Shouldn't this be cheaper for me?
Mark, that's not the way money works.
What it is, and what we're saying is that it does on the web and it does in games, but it does in the real life.
That's right. That's
that
right.
like foot radius Mercedes or Audi or whatever logo on the front of your car advertising what you're driving is just like another good case in point.
Exactly.
Why is that on there? Haven't I already bought this?
Well, let me ask you a question. You remember an ad from a stadium that you went to?
Yeah, there's a giant PlayStation logo in the SF Giants stadium.
Fantastic. Then it's doing its job. See? It did it. It did exactly
That's
what it
well,
needed
that's because
to
I
do.
work for Sony. That's the only reason I remember it. I know. I'm all constantly torn by the
My
back and
goodness,
forth
this is
of
probably the most contentious we've been on Boss Rush.
Being in this podcast makes me get cranky. It just happens. Speaking of ads, did any of you buy the Switch 2 yesterday?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Let us switch lanes here and talk about the Switch 2. See how we did that?
Oh, nice, nice.
Did anybody get one?
I
have not.
forgot. I forgot.
Oh.
to do
How
it.
could you forget? Oh, well, you had a few things going on. You had a few
Yeah.
things going on. Well, you
Like
get a
writing
pass.
it,
You get a
yeah.
pass this week.
That's gonna be like Sony or Microsoft are gonna like sound clip that on an ad. Dean Takahashi says, "I forgot to buy the Switch too."
I forgot to buy the Switch
Oh,
2.
quick, back that up, erase it.
We'll
I
edit
did
it
not
in
do
post.
that. I definitely not
We'll
forgot.
edit it in
That was
post.
AI. He didn't.
I
say
thought I
that.
was gonna have like this good chance too because my kid uses my online account and then plays stuff like Animal Crossing like forever, and so I had like I was convinced that I had like really good strong history for my pre-order because Nintendo was going to look at their online activity and decide whether you deserve to be like one of the first to get a Switch too, right? And so that was their attempt to fight off all the scalpers who have never played a Switch, but would be happy to sell one for double the price or something when it comes out, right? So,
Damn, it's almost like trying to
so
buy a
I was
graphics
going to have
card.
this great chance, but then I forgot.
Well, then they just opened up the pre-orders that were like on Target, Walmart, Best Buy. Like that didn't have anything to do with how much you'd played. You just had to, get in there before the scalpers did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I believe I have secured one, but through a circuitous route, which is a friend of mine. The last three big systems that I was able to get, so the Switch OLED, the Series X, and PlayStation 5, a good friend of mine, he just manages to blitz all these different sites and get them. And then he's like, oh, I was able to get two in the cart. And we belong to kind of a group chat. And people are like, yes, I want one or another. And he came through again. So
Scalper.
No, it is exactly the list price. And he's only doing it for his friends who's like, yeah, if I'm there or I happen to be out and I see one, I'll go ahead and pick it up if somebody wants one. And so it's a community that get together to do it, and it's great. So yeah, I'll hopefully get one. If somebody within that group has kids, though, first, I'm always like, families with kids first. Then you go to us bigger kids here. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get a chance to do it. But I don't know how much I'll have a chance to actually play it with everything going on. But yeah, pretty excited to see what the next Switch does. So
Yeah.
All right, what other big news do we got? So yeah, so Switch 2, may the odds forever be in your favor to those that are out there trying to get one.
I got excited this morning and I was going to go down the Epic Games, download the Epic Game Store to download some free games, which I know Chris is always talking about free games. And I saw Loop Hero is on the Epic Game Store today. I was like, what? I got to go get Loop Hero and play it on my mobile devices. That's so awesome. And then I went to download this iOS Epic Game Store. And of course, it doesn't work in the US.
Right.
It's EU only.
That's
What
right.
the
And
shit?
this segment of Boss was brought to you by ExpressVPN. Like,
I know, right? That was my next thought. It's like, oh, well, I guess I gotta sign up for a VPN. I was like, all right, kid, just go buy Luther, whatever. But I wasn't really paying much attention. I thought that like the alternate game stores were something that were on iOS in the US now, but they are not.
no. Only in the UK right now. But
Have you seen this? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You just scared me.
I was just gonna say going to free games right now. Lee was incredibly excited about Arcade Simulator yesterday on PlayStation Plus. Have you seen this? Have I just missed this? You start with a laundromat and you turn it into arcade?
Yes. Yes.
What is that insanity?
It's called Arcade Paradise. Arcade Paradise is the game.
Yeah.
So
he's so excited about that.
All right. So how far is he into playing this? Have you
just downloaded it yesterday?
Okay, so Dean,
you can be doing it right now for all I know.
Have you played
really
it?
Excited.
Have you played it, Dean or Mark? Have you guys played this at all?
Is this the thing that you showed me, Chris, or no? Oops.
Yeah.
No.
The one where you
Trailer is hilarious.
So basically, your dad owns a bunch of laundromats, and you're a slacker. And he says, well, you know, if you want to run the laundromat, I'll pay you. And what you find is when you go, you literally doing the wash, putting it in the dryer, having it folded for patrons that come in and out, and you're earning money, and you go around, you clean up and everything. When you go into the back room, there's an arcade machine in there. And so what happens over time is you start building out more and more machines in the back, but every one of the machines in the game is an actual mini game that the developer made. So it's not like it's emulated games. Every arcade machine you bring in is one that they developed, and it's this simulation. You continue building it. It's awesome.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
So much fun. You don't tell Lee, but you can. But
I knew you'd know about this game. But
what
don't
you
tell
can,
him that.
but what you can do then is do things like Lee, I bet those machines will be playable. And man, I bet they're not even going to use emulation. I bet they're going to make like original games for this, right?
Real
He's going to be
games,
like,
yeah.
how do you know all of
That's
this?
the dumbest thing you've ever said, Susan. In the last 10 minutes.
Until it's all true.
It'll be like that time you talked about that wiggling caterpillar, you know?
That's right, exactly. You are never going to let us down. Yeah, Lisa in the chat said, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with that." Yes.
It looks amazing.
And if you don't know who Lise Keeney is in the chat there, you need to go check out her site, which is
Absolutely.
Date Like Goblins, right? Date Like Goblins.
It's actually goblins now.
Oh, it's
but,
just
because
goblins.
it's not just about dating. Lisa's gonna have to tell us the URL.
That's right. Yeah,
URL
go ahead and pop the URL into the chat there, Lise. But she had this incredible concept about how do you go ahead and create an environment that allow people to find each other, find friends, find interests through gameplay, and it's really awesome. So definitely go ahead and check it out. Oh, and Sean Magdal said, and the game is also in VR.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yes. So yeah, heck yeah. Go play that for sure. For sure. All right. Speaking of games, everyone look at Bethesda Shadow Drops Oblivion Remastered.
I heard that. I heard they stomped on somebody else though.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
mean?
what I heard about it.
Surprise, huh?
Oops.
That big old Monty Python foot just came out and stomped it. Has anybody downloaded or played it yet, or have heard any of the
No.
chatter about it?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Have not.
I have not either. Have not.
It's cool that companies will do that or can do that, right? It's just,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, it does sort of mess up somebody else's plans, but I don't know. It's
Everybody's
I think we're gonna
fighting for
see
those
more of this
eyeballs.
kind of surprise thing because, like, I think everybody's watching out for the GTA 6 release date, right?
Yeah.
they're gonna totally shift around whenever that happens.
Didn't they say they're going to announce? They're going to announce. They made an announcement for when they're going to announce the date it's released.
Did they?
Yes, yes. Somebody go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case. They announced like something like either May or June, one of the earlier days a month. They're going to announce on that date when GTA 6 will be shipping. And I'm like, I've never heard an announcement to announce the date, unless it's, well, I shouldn't say that, Switch, right?
I wonder to what extent these things, like, I feel like the market, the game industry, I used to think of as like a single market, but now, like,
it's not
a big game. Yeah, like GTA it's going to shadow some things, but it's not going to shadow a lot of the things that I play. Like the more indie games, I'm still going to go buy those games.
Right.
It's not like I'm not going to buy those games. And now I'm noticing like the thing I was thinking of yesterday was Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and there's a piece here an hour ago that says they sold 500,000 copies, even though they launched the Shadow of Oblivion Remastered. Like, well, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can all survive together.
Yes.
Well, yeah, like we say, it's not like pie. Like, if you eat more, there isn't enough for everybody else. No, that's...
Yeah.
There's unlimited pie.
Of course.
I like this world that you're living in, Chris, where there's unlimited pie.
We have arcade. we have laundromats, arcade,
like
unlimited
clicker,
pie.
but for pie.
Well, shit.
Exactly.
What else do you need?
Let me
Nothing.
just add, if I could add, because I've talked about this quite a bit lately on some panels as well. We need to write what we mean when we talk about success in games. Budgets are coming down dramatically. There is a massive movement and trend in the industry to do things cheaply and to get to market early. And that means you don't need to sell millions of copies to make a profitable business.
That's right.
And so I think that we have to realign what success looks like. And I think you're going to see more and more niche hits that find their audience and can build a great business around that. Maybe it's not a VC business, but the VCs aren't giving us money anymore anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Screw
get back
them.
to making games.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. No,
Speaking of niche games,
go.
Did you see that the Political Machine 2024 shipped an update?
I have seen
Oh
this.
no.
I was excited to see that. I haven't pulled it down yet. It's one of the few games that's like continually on my desktop because of who I am. But apparently they've added tariffs.
Oh.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Try that. Good job, Start Off.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out their page there. Why
Dean
don't
covered
we?
that. Thanks, Dean. That's where I thought.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Let's see.
I was so mad the first time I played it when Trump beat Kamala by default in the game. I was like, screw you! This thing's not realistic.
Oh my gosh, that's a Shrek at the bottom there.
It should be orange.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
All right.
go.
Yeah, so there is an update there. All right. So speaking of games, but game adjacent things, anyone watching The Last of Us season 2?
Yeah. I saw it.
Not yet. Still
Well,
haven't
yeah,
watched it.
I should really say that for
episodes
Mark
in.
and Susan.
Yeah.
Dean, I saw your post after episode 2, and you said, "Man, this is hard to watch." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I haven't seen it yet." And I watched episode 2 and was like, "What the shit?"
I saw Dean's post and I was like, maybe I'll wait till later.
But
Yeah, you got to be in the right frame of mind. I think you can't be feeling like I need something uplifting and inspiring to watch, right?
Exactly.
I'll definitely wait. Maybe 3 more years, maybe 3.5 years.
Exactly. I heard it's a
Bar
rom.
is high
I
right now.
heard
There's a lot of great television.
Yeah, I heard it's a. I heard it's a zombie-based rom-com. It's fantastic.
Rom-com? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
But they,
Okay,
I mean,
what are you
they did.
doing?
They did bring.
That's a new genre.
I think they brought some special Hollywood power to that episode too, where I think in the game, you're just sort of you're fighting zombies one at a time, right? But then they brought this sort of big, large scale, massive attack on a town from waves and waves and hordes of zombies. And so I think that was something that Hollywood does better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Of,
and no spoilers,
scenes, right?
but no spoilers for those that haven't seen it. But I will say, as somebody who is a fan of the Walking Dead series, second place now. Second place.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it is monumental storytelling. I mean, it's really just incredible. And we're only in the second episode into the season, right? So, yeah, just really amazing. But yeah.
Whilst on the topic of zombies, have you seen One Cut of the Dead? That is a favorite of ours recently.
What is it?
Oh, it's real. One Cut of the Dead.
One Cut of the Dead.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's on your company Prime.
What? I didn't get the memo. Let me go check here.
It's insane. It's I don't want to just go into it knowing nothing. It gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't read up on it. Don't read up on what's going on. Just watch it.
All right.
And there's a sequel which we haven't watched yet, but it was so good. That's one of my favorite zombie things recently.
They changed the name pretty seriously from the Japanese version. It looks like it's originally Japanese, and it was called "Stop the Camera."
Is that what it's called?
Oh, well, look at Mark flexing all of his Duolingo knowledge now.
The small amount of Japanese I know, I can read it.
Look at him now. Oh, yes. Mark's big brain.
Watch it. Report back to me next week.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this thing went sideways this week. Okay.
More than normal.
Which is so good. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Is anyone playing Blueprints? Should we talk about Blueprints? I can't decide what I think about Blueprints.
Nice. Have you had a chance to play? I haven't.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, who else has played?
Have you had a chance, Dean, you said?
I have not. Yeah.
Oh.
But I've looked at it a lot. I saw the preview and I thought it was a very interesting concept. Like, Blueprints, Prince is sort of a play on the word blueprint, right?
Right.
It's an architectural game where you go into this mansion and it has ever shifting rooms and you want to get to the secret room in the house. And so it's a big puzzle, but very creative concept, and something that is just really resonating with players. And so it's
small
another
indie
surprise
studio.
hit,
Right?
Yeah, it's cool. I respect it. I can't decide if I'm enjoying playing it. I mean, I'll be honest. I downloaded it. I played about an hour. Lee kept hearing me cursing, and and maybe I just suck because I just kept boxing myself out and I couldn't put any more. And I played a lot of Betrayal of the House on Haunted Hill, which is the board game with a similar sort of.
Oh, I think we lost Susan's audio a little bit.
Oh yeah, Susan's audio is a little bit in and out.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
Oop, yep, now you're back. Louder.
Yep, we got you.
Maybe, I don't know.
But I found it more punishing to replay than other road games, and I'm finding myself, how many times do I have the patience to go back and play these rooms again?
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought it up, the roguelike elements. So the way I've been describing to people, think of it as a roguelike deck building game where the deck that you're building every day are rooms. And it's very easy to box yourself into a corner where there's no other moves to make and you have to reset the day. Right? And then it
annoys the hell out of me.
Yes, but then it's kind of like, all right, and now to draw that comparison, it's kind of like Balatro in that when you start to learn what certain tiles do, like this tile will take 1 gold coin from you every time you use it. This one will open up 2 new gems for you. So you've got this whole other meta layer of data that you're constantly trying to figure out how to go and weave into it. It's insanely good. It's really good. I've not been able to break, which I like to try to do, is break some of the systems, right? And see like where the pressure points are. Have not been able to break it. Like it's like, nope, you can't go through this. Like you placed a room here that had another room, and the room you placed had a door that would butt up against a wall of the bottom one, and it blocks you from going through. And I'm like, yes. Like, yeah, it's really well done. Extraordinarily well done.
Those are good comparison.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about the fact that you have to take notes? I mean, it's like it's not
Yes.
Right.
I don't mind that.
like I've read about people taking pictures as they're playing it and stuff. You know?
It's reminding me. I'm having a similar reaction that I had to Obra Dinn, which is another really good game that I felt like I needed to run side by side with Excel. And those, like for me, those games don't last very long typically because I'm just like I feel like I have to work to play this.
Yeah.
Well,
and I just wanted to sit there on my sofa with my popcorn and play.
I don't have
I'm
to
like,
think,
oh, now where's some paper?
well, right. Yes. There's some games you want to lean back and.
It has some really wonderful, clever escape room moments, and I love escape rooms, so that part of it.
Yeah.
You know, there was in the without any giveaways in the billiard room. There was one in there that I was like, "Is this what's going on?" It was, and I felt so clever figuring it out. So it definitely has some. So I like it. I don't want to bash it at all, but
It's
super
crazy.
creative. What a crazy concept.
Yeah.
It's rare to see something so creative these days. So it makes me happy.
Yeah,
I agree.
and so well done. So well done.
Yeah.
And you added another qualifier.
It's probably
to
getting.
it. Yeah. Good.
It's getting talked as much about as Oblivion, right?
Yes, right.
That's cool.
I mean, the important thing to remember there, right, is that you can't predict the virality of something. Number one, and number two, if you tried to manufacture virality, it's not really viral, so don't do that. But that's the beautiful thing about games, right? And we've been talking about this for a while. Is we've gotten the access to tools, to information, to distribution, to such a point where you're now putting in the hands of all kinds of creatives. So these incredible games and experiences are coming from everywhere. And so, like I think I mentioned it before at DICE, Yoshida was at one of the tables. He's like, and he talked about this publicly in an article. He's like, you can't predict that, a Helldivers 2 is going to outperform the newest Spider-Man game. Like, you just can't, you can't account for that. You just have to make sure your business model is flexible.
Can you imagine, the person who made Blueprints going in to pitch a traditional publisher to try to raise money to make the game?
Yes.
It's like a roguelike. It's like crossed with a deck builder, but it's like in a building, and you play it. I'm like, I don't even know how you describe it, right? They'd just be like, whatever.
Raw Fury published it. I don't know when they got involved. I don't know if they funded it or if they came in the end to help publish it. But
I'd like to hear the story.
Yeah. So anyway,
same for Balatro. Could you imagine having signed that?
Right? So it's poker.
It's poker with a bunch of crazy jokers. That's not how you play
jokers.
poker.
Mediocre visuals,
Exactly.
Mary Beth's still playing Balatro.
However it's pronounced. That's the other great thing is nobody knows how to pronounce it.
Nobody knows Balatro.
I have one more new thing to chat about. Today is opening day for the Until Dawn movie. So this is from Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions. And
Sadly,
it is like I've seen a preview of it this week, and it is far from the game's story. So Until Dawn was my favorite game of 2015, right? So 10 years later, they've got a movie version of it, and the concept sounds like easy. Like in the game, your job is to try to enable 8 teenagers in this big haunted house in the woods to stay alive until dawn. And then IGN has this nice headline. They should call it Until Yawn instead. But it's like everything that they could do to possibly make it more low budget. They did, like in the game they have this sort of luxurious cabin in the woods. It's almost like a spa kind of place, and in this movie they have this old house that looks like it's on the Universal backlot, right? And it's like the welcome center in a larger community, but it's just like this old decrepit looking building. And I guess Variety said it had a budget of $15 million, which is nothing. Right, for a movie, right? It's like, but let's go hire some teenagers. there are only 5 characters instead of 8. And we're like, okay, well, maybe they just couldn't, squeeze all the stories of 8 teenagers into 2
hard
hours
to
of
get
a
8
movie,
people on the
right?
screen.
But it's like let's down budget the house and let's down budget the number of actors that we can hire, and then totally veer off the storyline. And like the original game was very cinematic, right? And it had Hayden Panettiere and then Rami Malek, like these excellent, voice actors with like characters that totally look like them, right? They look super realistic, and so it's and we get sort of these unknown actors, right? So it's just totally different, sad experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you think they
Is
were
it
like,
zombie?
well,
Is it still zombies? Or
Well, they kind of screwed
no.
that part up too.
Oh, no.
So
This
there
is a
are
rom-
these things called,
bomb.
which in the game they're characters called the Wendigo, right? They're zombie-like creatures, right? Sort of the Pacific Northwest, like an actual real legend. Whereas we get this mixture of human enemies, zombie-like, giant, guy, and then a psycho like old grandma, and then it's like all these new things introduced into it that it's just like the Wendigo is like a bit player, right?
Wait a minute.
So
I'm sorry. Did you say at dawn and then grandma? So this is a dawn mom zom rom com? Is that what it is?
I'm thinking of the movies,
And it's the bomb,
the Hitchcock movie Psycho, right? There's ladies that are rocking in a rocking chair.
Oh yeah. Maybe they were like, well, original old zombie movies originally were really low budget, and they
Yeah, they were.
we had actors, people nobody knew who they were, and that made them famous, and we're gonna copy that.
Yeah, it's almost like Sony said, like, hey, let's give this a $15 million budget and see if anybody will actually go, right?
15 million was good enough for the game. It's good enough for the movie.
Well, the only time a cameo in a zombie movie may have derailed or stunted the actor's ability to continue acting was Peter Moore in his cameo in House of the Dead, where he came up out of the ground, and that was the only movie I believe Peter Moore has ever been in.
I just talked to Peter Moore a week ago.
He's such a lovely, lovely guy.
I love Peter Moore.
Yeah, phenomenal. And you made a good ass zombie, man. So don't let Uwe Boll take that from you.
Uwe Boll. Yeah.
We are pulling out all the deep cuts today.
Yeah.
Well,
We're all over.
there was some real hard actual news that came from the Drake Star Partners people about a good quarter for game acquisitions and fundings, both on sort of the game startup level and then on the high level of big company acquisitions. And so deals are happening again. They're up compared to Q4, and they're starting to get back towards much higher numbers that we saw in previous years, right? Part of this was the Niantic acquisition by Scopely, for $3.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a big part of it. But also Infinite Reality, the mystery company, has during this quarter raised $3 billion. And they're a metaverse company, right? But they actually came out and said who their investor is.
Did they?
Finally, as well. Yeah.
Aw.
So let me look that up while
Hell.
you guys chat about that. But yeah, it's a company called Sterling Bay.
That guy.
Wait, no. Oh, wait. No. Let me.
Oh, I see.
Let me step back here.
What, Bowser?
All
Sterling Equities?
right. Sterling.
Sterling
All right.
Cooper.
All right. I was looking at the wrong thing. Now I got it. Okay. So they Sterling Select is the name of the company. It's a venture development arm of Sterling Equities and the Katz family. So they've also made investments before in Rect Global, and yeah, it's a company that can give Infinite Reality $3 billion for their metaverse business. So Infinite Reality, more recently, they bought Napster, and then they also bought an AI company for $500 million. So they immediately sort of took that $3 billion and have made a $500 million acquisition of an agentic AI company called TouchCast. This is actual real money now because they gave both cash and stock to TouchCast. And so everybody for a while was going like, $3 billion, wait a minute. Did they really do this? Because nobody knows who the investor is, right? Like,
Yeah.
Everybody was getting suspicious about like, what's going on? So yeah.
That's crazy.
They're coming out and saying, hey, yeah, this is real money we have.
Yeah, my brain got stopped on Napster.
Yeah.
Also, that was either Mark's stomach.
It's still
Or
around.
Or Bowser. It's always Bowser. Bowser. No.
Yeah, no, I think that's crazy and good to see that we're seeing again more investment happening in the space and that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, look, I know we're 2 minutes away from wrapping up for this week. So real quickly, let's go around the horn again. We mentioned Blueprints. We mentioned Balatro, the crazy card game. What else? We talked about the Political Machine. What else are we all playing?
Remastered.
Yes, yeah, Oblivion Remastered. Anything new that people were delving into this week? No?
No time.
Yeah, I know you don't have any time right now. I know,
Sadly.
Dean, you're probably also...
I saw a movie, right?
What did you see?
Well, I saw Until Dawn, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought perhaps there was
Sadly, I should have used that
another
time for
movie.
gaming instead. Right?
I thought maybe there was another movie. How about you, Mark? What are you playing?
I think you listed everything that I've been playing. I was trying to play Loop Hero this morning, but it failed. But I'll try again.
Well, you
later.
can still download it for the PC and play it.
I know, but I wanted to play it on the couch. Dang it.
I'll
just buy it again. Now it's in my head.
But now if it's free on the Epic Store, you don't need to buy it again. They're giving it to you for free.
I know, but I can't play
Epic
it
and
on
Prime Gaming. The Prime Gaming
play it on
site.
the iPad, man.
Yeah,
It's
but
not on iPad.
Prime
You should give Assassin's Creed Shadows a try.
Oh, that's what I need to. You're right. That's
It's
what
at
I
the
need to
top
do.
of the Circana list.
People keep recommending that game to me. I'm on it.
All right, good. I'm just going to continue working on my little PC project that I talked about. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but we'll go ahead and get that taken care of. And Blueprints and still a little Indiana Jones.
Lighting simulator. I'm working on.
You're working on what? Oh, yeah, your lighting simulator?
Lighting simulator.
Exactly. Look at the man is just glowing with
2025.
brilliance. Absolutely. But once again, let's give Dean another round of applause. Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
Woo!
congratulations.
17-year startup. And can't wait to see how you grow it. And just so happy to lean and help any way we can. And yeah, man, just congratulations, Dean. You're awesome, and we're so appreciative of your voice in the industry and as a friend, and nothing but love for you, buddy. So congrats to you, Gene.
Great to be a teenager.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, everybody, we will see you next week on Boss Rush. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Have a great next week. Woo!
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See y'all.